Good morning, students. In today's class, we will discuss classifications of signals. So, we'll start our discussion with classification of signals. This is our new topic, classification of signals. So, there are so many types of signals exist, or there are so many ways of classifying signals. At the beginning, we'll just list out the types, and later on, one by one, we'll start in detail. So first type or first classification of signals is even signal and odd signal. Even signal and odd signal. This is first category, first classification. The second type of classification of signals is periodic, non-periodic signal. Non-periodic is also called as a periodic signal. The third type of classification is energy and power signal. The fourth type of classification of signal is stable, unstable, or non-stable signals. Fifth category is deterministic, and random signals. So at the basic level, these are few of the uh, types or classifications of signals, and we'll go through these classes in more detail. So to begin with, let us start our discussion with even and odd signals. So our first classification is even and odd signals. So what is even signal and what is odd signal? Mathematically, in signals and systems, any signal in general x of t, I am talking about continuous time signal. So in general, x of t is composed of two parts, xe of t and xo of t. Here xe of t stands for even part of signal, even part of x of t, and xo of t stands for odd part of x of t, which means in general my signal x of t can be constructed by making use of even part and odd part, or in other words, even part and odd part together forms signal x of t. So there is a relationship between xe of t and x of t, as well as xo of t and x of t. Later on we'll see what is that relationship is, but at this moment we have to keep in mind that any signal in general that we came across in our day-to-day life is or can be fabricated, can be constructed by making use of its even part and its odd part. So first of all, let us understand what is meant by even part. So how we define the signal is even. So even signal can be mathematically denoted as, suppose I have a signal x of t, then if I fold the signal, folding operation we have already studied in previous class. Folding means time reversal. So if we time reverse the signal, then also its amplitude remains same. Then also its amplitude remains same. When this condition is followed in signal, then that signal is called as even part or even signal. For example, suppose I have a signal like this. I have a signal like this. I am plotting this with respect to t, and let's say here from this point up to, let's say here, from -2 to let's say +2, and its amplitude let's say equal to 1. So this is a get signal. Now if you observe the amplitude on the right hand side from 0 to 2 is 1, and amplitude in the negative half also is equal to 1. That means for period 0 to 2 its amplitude is 1, which is same if I reverse the signal in negative time domain or in negative time axis as well. Its amplitude remains same. So such signal is called as even signal. What about odd signal? In case of odd signal, x of t and x of minus t, what is the relationship? So generally it is negative. That means x of t is negative to that of folded version of this time signal. So if this mathematical condition is followed, then we can say that the signal is odd signal. For example, suppose if we have a signal something like this, okay, it's a triangular wave, simple triangular wave, okay, and let's say amplitude here is +1, here it is -1. Let's say this is my x of t. Now if you observe x of t for positive side, let's say from 0 to 1, its amplitude is +1, and x of t for negative side from 0 to -1, its amplitude is negative. So if you correlate this condition for this signal, you will observe that this signal is an odd signal. So after looking at these two examples, we can very easily come up with a very important thumb rule for identification of signal, whether it is even or odd, and is that for even signal at zero signal amplitude value is non-zero. So you look at signal and you check at 0, at t is equal to 0, you check if signal amplitude is non-zero, then you can conclude even. It is not valid for all the signals in general, but for specific signals, for general signals, we can make use of this thumb rule. Similarly, for odd, at t is equal to 0, we can observe that amplitude is 0. So we have to test condition, and by making use of this thumb rule, we can conclude whether the given signal is even or odd signal. Generally, in the question paper, it is asked that find the value of even and odd part of a signal. So even part of a signal is obtained by this relation xe of t is equal to x of t plus x of minus t divided by 2. So by making use of this relation, we can obtain xe of t, and xo of t can be obtained by making use of x of t plus x of t. Where is the eraser? Let me check. Yes, it is not plus. X of t minus x of minus t divided by 2. This gives us odd part of the signal. So if we know the basic signal x of t, so from the given signal x of t, we can derive the even part as well as the odd part. So there are examples in the question paper that you are provided with a given signal x of t, and it is asked in the paper to obtain even part and odd part. Okay, so let's take one example. Suppose in the exam it is given that find x of t is given to you, for example 2 minus 3t plus let's say 4t square, and it is asked that find whether this signal is even and odd. So what we can do in this case, the first thing that we need to do is we need to substitute for t as a minus t because we want the folded version of the signal. So x of minus t will be equal to 2 minus 3 into minus t plus 4 into minus t square, which results into 2 plus 3t, because this minus minus become plus, plus minus t square becomes plus t square, so this is 4t square. And obviously if you look at xt and x of minus t, they are not same. Now obtain the value of xt for certain value. Let's say for t is equal to 1. What is the value of x1? So if we put t is equal to 1 at every point here in this expression x of t, I will get 2 minus 3 plus 4. So I will get answer 4 plus 2, 6 minus 3 as a 3. And if I substitute t is equal to 1 here, and if I get the result x1, then this is 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is equal to 9. And obviously these two signals are not same. And therefore this signal, you observe one thing also, x of t is not equal to negative of x of minus t also. And therefore this signal is neither even nor odd. So we can identify the given signal in such a way that whether the given signal is odd or even signal. Suppose we are given a signal. For example, if it is given that u of t is the signal given to us, okay, u of t is the signal, and we want to find its even part and odd part. So how we can find? So usually what we do is we need two components. X e of t we can obtain by, if let's say this is x of t signal which is equal to u of t, then even part of xt, that is u e of t, will be equal to xt plus x of minus t divided by 2. So I have xt in my hand, but I don't have x of minus t. So how we can plot x of t? How we can plot x of t? So here I will plot u of even part. So this is amplitude is equal to 1. So this is x of t signal, or simply it is equal to u of t, and u of minus t. So this signal exists only for t greater than 0. For t less than 0, its value is 0. Look at here. Okay, its value is 0. But when I am interested in plotting u of minus t, it is a negative side signal and it exists only at the negative intervals of time. So time varying from 0 to minus infinity, this signal is existing. So for t less than 0, this signal exists. And therefore, if we add these two signals, then we get a signal something like this. And it varies from all the time. Okay. So this is what my even part of units. So for time varying from minus infinity to 0 and from 0 to infinity, its amplitude always equal to 1, because when I add these two signals, I will get this. But here even part will be half of this. So amplitude will get divided by 2. So this will be my even part. Similarly, if I want to obtain odd part, so odd part of u of t will be equal to, I know that u of t signal will be something like this. This is my u of t signal which exists for t greater than 0 and its amplitude is equal to 1. And if I want to plot minus u of minus t, then I know that u of minus t will be something like this. In the previous case I have drawn it, but now I have to plot negative. So now instead of plus 1, its amplitude will be, so this is my signal, okay, this is x u of t. This is u of t. And now if I am interested in finding the odd part, then I need to add these two signals. So after adding these two signals, what I get is this signal. So here amplitude is -1 and here this is +1, but as I explained, odd part is given by x of t minus x of minus t divided by 2. This amplitude is get divided by 2, and this is my odd function. This is my odd part of u of t, and this signal is a very famous signal, and it is called as signum function in signals and systems. So this is a new signal that we came across, and we solve many problems on this in a later part. Okay, so this is the way how we can obtain the even part and odd part. So derivation of this even part and odd part, that is x of t, x even part of t is equal to xt plus x of minus t divided by 2, and x odd part of t is equal to x of t minus x of minus t divided by 2. Derivation part of this I will cover it in a next class. Okay, so with this I conclude this even and odd part of a signal, and we'll quickly move to the next category of or next classification of signal, that is periodic and aperiodic. This aperiodic is also called as non-periodic signal. Okay, so any signal in general can said to be a periodic or not periodic depending on certain conditions. So what are those conditions? So conditions to tests. So what are those conditions? So first condition to test is signal must exist between time period t less than minus infinity to plus infinity. That means signal must exist from minus infinity to infinity. Then and then only we can say that the signal is periodic in nature. Otherwise it is not periodic. The second condition for periodicity is that it must repeat itself. It must repeat itself. It must repeat itself after finite time interval t, and this t is called as the fundamental period. This t is called as the fundamental period. So these two conditions are necessary for a signal to be periodic. Let us in general take a signal x of t is equal to, let's say, a sine omega naught t plus phi. Okay, so this is the standard equation of a sinusoidal periodic signal. So what are the terms associated with this signal in mathematical expression? So here a is called as the amplitude of a signal. A is called as amplitude of a signal. So it is very essential that we must know these terminologies before solving the problems. What is omega 0? Omega 0 t is called as the phase angle. And you know the relationship between phase angle and frequency. If we differentiate phase angle, then we get frequency. And this frequency is measured in radians per second. Similarly, if we integrate frequency, we get the phase. So we must know the relationship between phase angle and frequency. So this part is called as the phase angle. This part is the amplitude, and this part is called as the phase delay. is called as the phase delay. Phi is the phase delay. Okay, so these are the various terminologies associated with any in general periodic sinusoidal signal. Okay, let us take for example simple different signals to test whether they are periodic or not. So x of t, let's say it is equal to 4 sine of, let's say, 200 pi t. This is a signal given to us. So first thing we need to check is we need to compare this signal with standard equation. But what is the type of question asked? You please try to understand. It is given in the problem that x of t is this signal. Test signal for periodicity. Test signal for periodicity. And if signal is periodic, then find its fundamental period. This is a problem. This is the way how question is asked in the exam paper. So how we can solve? So for this, the solution is pretty easy. You compare this given equation with the standard equation. We know the standard equation is a sine omega 0 t plus phi. Here phi part is 0 and therefore our equation becomes a sine omega 0 t. So after comparing, what we get, a is equal to 4 and our omega 0 is equal to 200 pi. So what is my fundamental period? So I know that omega 0, I can write it as 2 pi f0. I am interested in finding fundamental period. So here instead of this, I can write this 2 pi f0 as 2 pi t0 is equal to omega 0. And therefore my t0, that is fundamental time period, is given by 2 pi upon omega 0 in seconds. So this is the very important relations that I am going to make use so many times in order to find the fundamental time period. So here I know that omega 0 is given as 200 pi. Therefore my fundamental time period t0, or you may call it as a t, is given by omega 0 divided by 2 pi. I'm sorry. Let me erase. Be careful while writing the expressions. T0 is given as 2 pi divided by omega 0. So 2 pi divided by omega 0 is 200 pi. So pi get cancelled. Therefore 1 upon 100 is the basic fundamental period of the signal. And since it is a sinusoidal signal, there is no way to check the periodic, because sinusoidal signals always exist from minus infinity to plus infinity over a period of t, since here no time limits are given, and therefore this signal is periodic. This is the answer. This signal is periodic with a fundamental period of 1 by 100 seconds. Let us quickly take one more example. Example number 2. In this example, let's say x of t is 3 times cosine, let's say 20 pi t plus some phase angle is given. Now phase delay is no way concerned with the periodicity, so don't bother about such a types of problems. If phase delay is given, don't worry about it. You have to just compare your signal with the standard signal and you have to find out the fundamental frequency. So solution is pretty easy. After comparing with standard equation, that is a cos omega 0 t, what we get is omega 0 is equal to 20 pi and a is equal to 3. A is no way concerned with the periodicity, so we are only concerned with omega 0, which is 20 pi, and we know that fundamental period t0 is given by 2 pi upon omega 0, that is 20 pi. So this pi get cancelled. So this is 1 by 10 seconds. Again you observe there is no time limit is given in the problem. And therefore the signal exists from period t minus infinity to plus infinity, and it repeats with a fundamental period of 1 by 10 seconds, and therefore this signal is periodic signal. Okay, this is a way how we can solve such problems. Now let us take one last problem to conclude. If signal is a combination of one or two more signals, let's say for example x of t is equal to 4 uh, cos 2 pi t plus let's take another 3 sine, let's say 6t. Now it is asked in the problem that check whether xt is periodic. So now you observe this is not an individual signal, but it is a combination. It is a combinational signal. It is a combination of cosine 2 pi t and 3 sine 6t. So what are the steps here? The steps is very simple. First, in order to find the fundamental period of a resultant signal, you have to find the LCM of signal, LCM of T1, T2 and so on. And then you can conclude that the given means in this way you can find the fundamental period of these combinations of signals. Or if you are interested in frequency, then you can take GCD, greatest common divisor of f1, f2 and so on. Okay, so if this is the first thing to note, that if we are interested in finding fundamental period of combinations of signals, we have to find the least common multipliers of the individual signal, that is T1, T2 and so on. And if we are interested in finding fundamental frequency directly, we have to use greatest common divisor GCD by making use of fundamental frequency of first signal, second signal and so on. Alright, so this is a way how we can proceed. But before that, one more thing that we need to test is that we need to find out the fundamental period. So first step is find the fundamental period of individual signals, and let denote them by T1, T2, T3 and so on. Then you find the ratio of any two fundamental periods, let's say T1 upon T2 or T2 by T3, or you may take T1 upon T3 and so on, and check these ratios to test whether it is a ratio of integers, if this ratio is a ratio of integers, then we can say that the signal the number is a rational number. So we have to check whether this ratio is a rational or not. Now what is meant by a rational number? So any ratio of integer numbers, is called as rational number. So for example, it is in the form of p by q. It is a ratio of two integers. But here we have to check the condition, and these two conditions is that it results into fixed decimal numbers. Or second, it turns into this ratio is turned into decimal numbers which must be terminating or repeating. So for example, if we take T1 upon T2 as a 10 by 3, so in this case this ratio will be 3.3.3. This result is a decimal number which repeats, and therefore this is a rational number. If we take T1 upon T2 as let's say 10 by 4, then this is 2.5, then it is fixed integers and it is terminating decimal number, terminating integer, which is not repeating. So this is also a rational number. Okay, but if we take T1 upon T2 as let's say 22 by 7, which is a pi value. So pi value is 3.1423. This this number is not repeating. Every number is new in this series, and therefore this is not a rational number. So pi is not a rational number. Under root is not a rational number. So if in the given expression the terms appears like this, then we can conclude that the signal is aperiodic. So we have to test the condition that the ratio of two integers must be a rational number. So coming back to our example, x of t, which is a combination of, let's say, 4 cos 2 pi t, which we have taken previously, plus 3 sine 60. So here in this expression, my omega 0 or omega 1 first fundamental frequency is equal to 2 pi, and the second fundamental frequency is equal to 6. So here fundamental time period t1 associated with this signal will be 2 pi upon omega 1, which is 2 pi by 2 pi, which is equal to 1 second. So no problem for this signal because it's a rational number. But what about omega 2? This signal t2 is given by 2 pi by omega 2, 2 pi by 6, which is 1/3 pi, and since pi terms appears here, this is non-rational number. This is not a rational number, and therefore ratio of t1 upon t2 is not a rational, and therefore the combined signal xt is not periodic. And since it is not periodic, there is no question of fundamental period. Okay, there is no question of fundamental period. So this is the way how we can solve the problems. In the next class, we'll solve still more problems to elaborate the concept. I expect these problems and concepts are clear to you. If you like this video genuinely, please like these videos and give your comments. These comments make me more motivational to make more videos. So with this word, I will stop. Thank you.